E-text comes along in here and here in the news, so we have two pathways.
Okay,
So if they cut the fiber down here, we don't even know.
that's awesome.
And so they'll fix the fiber, we still have connection. So
So we feel we're kind of, they're a bit about to going out to residential areas. And it's on,
It's horrible.
did you understand that they were like sister networks, or Hillary on the other one, or
for what, the E-text?
that Hillary, yes, on the details?
I don't think so.
I think there's some kind of connection there.
The board now is back from the display for the video going forward. Discussion will continue about the scoreboard.
So, we were talking outside and, we didn't have two different choices. We only had the first choice, but Fight made a good point. We're lucky just to even be able to view it, because I think y'all just got that.
And that better than,
Yeah.
they grow from South Dakota.
Wow.
And that gives you an idea of kind of what a team looks like. Of course, that's marketing the team, because that's the lady. But if they didn't show up, you're gonna be here trying to decide between a 10 and 15 inches, and you wouldn't saw anything. So this is giving you an idea of kind of what that looked like as opposed to nothing. And that's, once again, that's a 10. Carthage is a 19, which we would be going to 15. And I don't know how many have gone to the game now. It's pretty clear. It's definitely, it's a clear and clarity in every picture. So 15 definitely is unclear.
And the smaller one is more, the 10.
Right.
How much was the difference on that?
About 100,000, 100 plus.
If we say 100,000, we could get the LED lights for the stadium.
649 versus 563, but I'm just giving you numbers. I don't know if that 563 includes everything.
How much did we spend on the first, on the original scoreboard?
I think,
I remember getting about the same, that's the process that comes out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a reason right now that we wouldn't go with a 10, that we would just go with 15 other than money?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what I
we
would
can't
know.
really
Is
see
it-
what the difference is.
Is the 10 gonna be supported longer, or,
Well, probably the 10 would be, but he said you're still gonna get the support with the 15. He would give you 2 or 3 years notice when time was running out. We can ask him how long the 15 is gonna be around. I would hope it would be around, 12 years or so.
May make the size difference,
That's the main thing. We have talked about possibly putting LED lights at the stadium. That's roughly, the quote that I was given was $100,000 to retrofit your current lighting system to LEDs, which would save money, and you can just flip the switch on and off. Right now, they have to heat up, and then if you cut the switch off, it takes a little while for them to heat back up. And so we actually could have a lighting system in place where, you could flip it on and off. I think Atlanta Falcons or Alabama does it, in their games.
oh, really?
When they score a touchdown or something, I've seen it.
so.
That would be cool.
Yeah, cool.
And there are some dark spots at the stadium. If you kind of, especially around the both end zone, off in that area, it's dark, there are dark spots. And I was at the last people relayed how dark it was in those spots. And those LED lights, of course,
Okay.
give tremendous light and more light than what we have now.
I think with the board being so big, you gotta realize we're at 200 something square feet, 252, and you're going, if you go with the big one, you're, 1,000.
And that's gonna bring in light on that area too, because that's LED lights, LED showing out there too, so that's gonna bring some more light. So if you lit up,
And I'll tell you, the one, y'all, I hate to keep bringing up label arts board, but it's nowhere near that size that we're looking at. And I know it's probably not 15 millimeter, but when you put white on that board, it will blind you. And so I can only imagine if you put a white background, because we had a commercial that had a white background, and I mean, it was just blinding. It's gonna make a big difference. And, you know, I think they're gonna be around, I mean, and support that. Have you gotten any reason why we were to go 15?
He said they would support, I'm gonna support just like they would the team.
Have you seen the 15 West?
I haven't seen it.
What are we currently at?
Ours is, I believe, 22, probably around 22 meters, so it's pretty exciting.
Carthage is 19, it's,
Theirs is actually 19.5, they call it 19, was closer to 20.
what was the difference in square foot again between the two?
1,020 for option one, 839 for option two. Now, that is the video replay. That's just what you see up there with the kids on there.
Now, both of them would have the store down there.
Yes.
So the total video board is 1,221. That's for the big board. So that's the scoreboard down there at the bottom, 31 to 30, and the video up top. That whole board video is 1,221. That's for the big board. If you go with the little board with the 10 millimeter, you're at 1,039 total board. What was that first number?
About 200.
I don't know if we would be able to even tell the difference. I mean, we've been used to seeing this small one, and if we had anything bigger,
Yeah.
then it's gonna look good to us and to the whole community.
We normal 19 inch, what we used to a 60.
So you really only, when you're looking at the whole board, you're only talking about 182 square feet.
Well, I mean, we could think about doing the 15 and then throwing that extra 100,000 on the LED lighting. I mean, you know,
Both done before August.
and that way we don't, you know, I think 15 is gonna be state of the art for a long time.
Well, but he made he put those two boards up there, and he said this one, 3 or 4 years, and this one here,
Yeah, the first one was, what we had, I think, wasn't it? He said it would be obsolete in the next 1 year.
Yeah, but that was.
He said they will be selling it after about 3 or 4 years, they won't even be offering that option, they'll be in the meters to go off. Or maybe 10 and the 6.
Say again?
So the two panels that he showed, one was a 10 millimeter and one was a 15. He said in about 3 years, they won't be offering that 15 millimeter. They're still going to support it, but they won't be offering that. They'll offer the 10 and probably the 6 and 3, 3 years.
you're talking about saving a little, but, like he's, I got what Wes was saying, that, 3 years from now, they're not even gonna offer the 15 anymore. That's, it will be.
Well, you got a 5-year contract, that they would have to own when they fix it at 15.
Yes, it's a 5-year,
Right.
8 warranty.
Well, he said he would thought they would be able to support it for another 10 to 15.
They do, they offer the 5-year warranty, and then after that, you can extend the warranty, but he said normally they keep the availability to replace those parts for 10 to 12 years.
Because they make it.
Right, and that's the difference between them and some of the other.
Once the other companies, if they don't, they can't get it anymore. They make their own, so they have it in stock.
And another thing that's clear me up too with the bigger board. Does it have 10 or 15?
15.
Yeah, but they're 15. Thoughts?
Good one.
Only concern is that on that 15, if you're already in the transition phase, and that every time they come up with a new software upgrade, really in general, we're gearing towards that 6 and 10, and not the 15. And so
Makes sense.
it's kind of like,
And the last thing we don't need in that situation, kind of piggybacking on that, is to be, well, we quit making that. And, you know, it's gonna take a little time for us to get that part in, because we have to make that part, or whatever it may be.
are they still on that place?
I'm guessing the 10 is the bigger sizes.
So how much smaller is the 10? 8?
182 square feet.
182 square feet. Well, anything has to be better than what we got now.
That would be at least, 13 foot, 13 foot.
Well, if we don't wanna worry about ever having a software issue, you know, or being obsolete in 3 years, then I would recommend that we go with a smaller one, the 10mm pixels. We're only dealing with 182 square feet. I mean, our video portion of our crew right now is 252. So you think about the video part at 40 feet, 40 square feet.
A 10.
Yeah.
We're getting like a 10.
So, what do you think?
Which one do you think? I trust you on that, Rob.
Either one of them work, right? Either one of them is gonna be a huge difference for what we have now, just the size and the technology has changed.
You know,
So,
well, if you don't think software is gonna be an issue, then go with the bigger board, it's software.
they still have to support it.
Right.
That time period. So whatever software changes they make, we're gonna have to figure out how to support it with 15mm, just like they would with TV.
That's what I'm kind of looking for. We got $100,000 to spend there, otherwise. And the sound's gonna be better if you can have the sound, which you can do that with both boards, I'm guessing.
All of them are the same, they're just gonna set the head down, we have that third speaker, they set back.
Their software is so much better than everybody else's, that's why I don't think it's a good software issue, because they do so well for supporting their software. Now, this was a company where we had some Hytera or whatever it is, I mean, we dealt with those, they're horrible. And we could change it right now, Michelle will come out and do flip, because that, trying to control that and that from that big one, it's horrible. It's so much user friendly, it's so, and once again, it's a curriculum that comes with it, you can get, but it's so much user friendly.
And it looks like there's something going on with that one, because there's a spot close to the middle where it's just like.
And that's kind of goes back to those panels, there's a panel that's going bad in there, and trying to find somebody spot that come out of China. And who knows how that's gonna go.
You didn't pay for what you did.
Don't know. Good.
And I have learned.
Sorry.
So what's your recommendation? Scott, what do you think? You've kind of been spearheading this, you and Wes kind of taking this over. Y'all heard.
Well, between the conversation he and I had, and he's the software guru, I would say that the big board, I think, once again, we're doing it in 5 years, they have to fix it. And I think as well as they do with their software, I don't see it being an issue. Because of the reputation. They wouldn't be in these major facilities, if they didn't have that reputation, and not going outsourcing it to somebody else, they do everything themselves, that's just the reputation that they have, and they wouldn't be in the percentage of these major, from NFL to NBA and all those, if they wasn't like, or as top of the class.
Oh, there he is. Come on in.
Oh. Good time or bad time?
No, good time.
Yeah.
Still
You
time.
gotta call in to somebody that can give us a demo for, graduation.
I think the main concern the board's having is going with I say older technology versus the 10, the 15, 10 years down the line, and we still will have to support it. And-
Yes, and any product we install, we're gonna, we have an end-of-life policy, that we started. So any product that you go with, we're gonna make sure we have parts to support it for the next 10 years. And normally, I've been with Equinix for 25 years now, and then normally extend it out for 2 or 3 years. It's really, depending on how many parts we need. If we have a particular product we're using less of them, then it might be a little bit quicker. But I don't think I've ever seen one that has gone 13 to 15 years so far. Our policy is 10 years from there.
Now, the question I had, the 10, like when we were looking at, when you got closer to it, you could see the lights of it, when you got further away, it was great.
Yeah.
Then you also said out there earlier, when I was out there with you, the further you get away from it, you start picking up on it a little bit. As you get further, now, with the 15.
Yes, no, at one point, like, when you're at the 10, it's, at some point, you get far enough away where it doesn't blend anymore. You know, so no matter how far away you get, it still pretty much looks like the same picture, but then the screen kind of starts to reduce down. The 15 millimeter is gonna be that way too. You'll even at the 20-yard line, you're gonna, like when we were up closer to it, you kind of saw a little bit of pixelation, but by the time you get to the 50-yard line or something like that, it's gonna look just like that as well too. So you can get a little more pixelation, but it's still an amazing, Allen Eagles, 15 millimeter display, so it's a great display. Dallas ISD, I just did 2 of them for them, one of those Field House and one, of course, so we're still installing that and doing, but again, it's the product, everything's kind of new. So again, it's, nobody has an overall razor anymore, flip phone or anything like that. So, but again, I'd be more than happy with either product you go with. They're both very good products, And again, I don't make a commission one way or the other, so whatever's best for the school district. And again, you have your sound system, you have the backlit Eagles up on the top up there. I don't know if that'll be the exact way they mount those, that's just the graphic artists. That might be on a single pole instead of having 3 poles. But then, of course, down here across the bottom, you have your sponsor panel down here. This is the full backlit sponsor panel all the way across the bottom. You can either use that all for sponsors, or you can break it up with your championships.
With our columns down there now, would they support the bigger board?
No, they're gone. All that stuff will be cut off with the ground and gone. So, this is way too much wind load for that. And again, we don't have the exact specifications on how deep, what the concrete was used at the time or anything like that. So we would make you sign off on that, say that we put it up on your structure, you're saying the structure was built to these specifications, whether you want to take that. We recommend our prices, we come in, we engineer, we get a geo report from the school district, we Texas engineer stamp it, and we come in and drill and piers and do everything to exact still current wind loads and code specifications. So
How tall are they? Are they gonna be the same height or?
I think normally we're 15 feet from grade to the bottom. We start at 15 feet is what we're doing. So
And I guess too, the other thing to kind of add in there, one of the things as far as width that kind of hinders us too is that track. You have a hill behind it, but then you gotta have a certain requirement as far as that 4th column to the right. That track area, we have lane 8 that's out there. There's no room on the back, you can't because of that sidewalk and hill. So as far as being, I guess you could say, legal per se, having that lane that close to that bank, you can't have it. You gotta have some wiggle room.
I don't know the exact specification, if there's a UIL rule on it, you know, but I
It's
mean,
just a safety issue.
yeah, there's safety issue, yeah, but we've had some facilities that means right on the edge, you know, so, but it's not a good thing, you know. Again, just like you do on your delay game clocks, you put pads up around them and that kind of stuff to protect them, you know, but of course, here you're doing, you know, again, we're not doing the brick, you know, but we're doing the steel, but y'all can come back and do the facades with the brick, you know, to match anything you want. I like it, or you can even do metal pole covers too, if you'd like to do that, but of course, the brick does fasten it up quite a bit, makes you look a lot better.
Really, since they're putting piers in, it really doesn't matter about that slope.
Yeah, it does.
They can put those piers, no matter what your slope is. Okay.
And your geo report will tell us if that's still dirt or if that's straight, you know, it'll tell us exactly how far down load bearing shale is or whatever we have here in the area, you know, and our engineers will take all that in consideration when they do the Texas Register Engineer stamp. We have 2 companies here in the Texas area that puts a professional stamp on that, and you'll have that before we ever start the installation.
Does that cost include engineering fees also?
Included, yes, sir. And again, with the training, we have training, on-site training with our people. I kind of told you about the young lady that went from location to location to Pittsburgh. We actually hired her on contract. The young lady that actually did the Atlanta Falcons and did the big 360 ring and all that kind of stuff. She comes in here in Texas. She used to live in Houston. She went back to a CS family in Atlanta. But she'll come out and do training, so that our trainers actually do professional facilities all over the country. So the trainers that you get they've done it. Matter of fact, one of the young ladies, she just did the Texas Rangers when they had the World Series playoff games in there. She was running the boards for that. They hired her to run the boards for that as well too. So she's one of our trainers that comes out. And then I think we have the curriculum as well.
That was an option.
Based in, and it's Daktronics is founded by the deans of electrical engineering at South Dakota State University. They were tired of seeing their best and brightest leave. You know, they get an education and they would leave. So they said, like, how can we keep these students here? How can we keep our brightest here? So they started Daktronics, and that was one of the ways. But they put a big emphasis on classroom curriculums and that kind of stuff. So we built a program around it. It's not enough for a whole semester, but it is definitely a program on how you create the graphics, how you want it, how you work with sponsors, how you do that. It's a full curriculum that they could put together, and again, including implementation, grading, and everything else that goes along with it too. I think we've got that included in on the price as well too.
This is an option.
Yeah, it's an option price.
You said Allen is this Allen ISD, the Eagle Stadium, that
Yes.
they built a few years ago, or did they just put in?
No. I installed the one that's gonna fall down.
Yeah.
So, yes, I won't tell you that story, but anyway, yes, that was a 15 millimeter. that we installed at that location. But yeah,
And Dallas ISD, was that recently?
yeah, matter of fact, we just started up last week.
Okay.
So, yes.
So what year was Allen?
Well, it's been,
I mean, I'm just thinking, if 15 was around then,
how long's 15 been around?
That was kind of started at the time we did Allen. That's when it was, well, we had the 15 Delta with the 3 LEDs, kind of a Delta pattern. We went to HD, which the reason we do that is on the Delta pattern, when you get off to the side, this LED blocks this LED. And what happens is you get a color shift. You probably see it on marquees, maybe in your marquees. When you kind of come off to the side, your white all of a sudden turns red. But if you come over here on this side, and you go this way, it turns blue on this side. It's because one of these LEDs is blocking the other LEDs, and you're not getting the full white spectrum there. So Daktronics, because we're nothing but a bunch of engineers, we're dean of electrical engineering at South Dakota State University, we came up with an HD design. Our competitors say we're fooling with you, we're giving you less LEDs, but no, we have better LEDs, brighter LEDs, because we buy more LEDs than anybody else in the nation, pretty much in the world. I mean, we're the #1 consumer of LEDs in the United States. So we use fewer LEDs, but better quality LEDs and brighter LEDs, more focused on the tasks that we're doing. So when we do the patterns like this, you don't get that blockage, you're never having that. So even when you get off on a very hard, and we didn't do that out there, but Wes did it, when you get off on a very hard angle on the side, until you get to almost this point, you don't see a color shift. And then there's like 1 foot, perfect, 1 foot that turns blue or turns something like that too. And again, it's just that hard angle that you're at. But where you are, you'll never see that in your stadium because of how far back you are in that area.
Eagle Stadium, 2012.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So almost 10 years ago. Do we want to start out with something that started almost 10 years ago?
Good point. What y'all put in the game? No, about this.
13.
Oh, there's in between.
Yeah, we're killing that product because the 10's going to take it over. We can actually manufacture the 10 cheaper than we can make the 13 now. So we're actually killing that product. The 15 was kind of a, because we manufactured so many of them, it's like Ford making, Ford Tauruses. If you make enough of them, you can get the price down pretty cheap. The 10 and the 13 are getting so close, we just stopped selling the 13, so we're going to the 10.
Well, why don't you sell us a 10 for the price you're willing to sell 15, we'll make a deal.
That's what I was saying.
You're getting the deal right now. Yeah, you really are.
I just thought I was joking.
You can't put a 10 in the size that you have us quoted for the 15.
Well, unfortunately not, because again, it's the number of pixels. Remember I said you're almost 1 million, you're 933,000 pixels, It's the control system, and you can only control that 720 up to that point. That if I fill it up past that, I have to go to a larger control system like we use at the Atlanta Falcons, and that system is going to add another $60,000 to $70,000 because it's the next horsepower jump up, This control system controls, that's the maximum number of points you do it. And again, it's just kind of one of those cost, but you're very close. You're not that far on the difference between the two sides there. And in this stadium, that 24 by 44, it's, especially with the brightness and the tightness of the pixel pitch, nobody's seen anything like this over here. I mean, you heard Carthage, I heard Marshall and all these different ones like that, I mean, you're going to look at Carthage and go, that's
what we like.
Yeah.
You sold it. What, did y'all do Carthage?
No,
Who did? I mean, did you know there?
Yeah, that was in Netco.
and that's actually a 20 millimeter pixel pitch too. So, again, you're twice the resolution that one is. With, again, brighter LEDs and more durable LEDs. It is. And trust me, it's a lot of money. My wife goes like, you're kidding me? You're selling $1 million scoreboards when every kid doesn't have a laptop on his desk or something like that? I said, like, yeah, honey, but only in a football stadium can I go out and raise $2.5 million and get a return on investment. I can't advertise on this laptop. I can't slap a sticker on here like that. Only in that football stadium can I get a return on investment like that. And you know that. You've got sponsors here that are more than willing to pay for something like that as well. And we want to help you. We want to help you build that ROI to hopefully pay off that system in 8 years, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is just going right back into the general fund, or hopefully a replacement for the new one. That's exactly what we're doing in South Lake Carolina. So,
And so really the only difference in size is about 182 square feet.
That sounds like a lot. It's negligible. It really is. 4 by 8 sheet of plywood. It's not a whole lot. It's really not. Unfortunately, I wish I could. But again, it's that control system that's kind of like my hands. And trust me, I've talked to the engineers about it. There's got to be a step in between it. But I'm a sales guy, not an engineer. So.
There's 4 by 8, so.
you know, we do know that 15's been around almost 10 years. So, and you said 3 years y'all are gonna stop making the 15s?
No, we're predicting, just because the way the trends are moving right now, you know, that the cost will come down on 10 millimeter, that nobody will want to buy the 15. You know, it's just like, you know, does anybody have a Motorola Razr anymore? No, I want the iPhone 12, I want the iPhone 15, I want, you know, most people will go buy an iPhone. You know, I'm the other way, you know, I had a Mazda MPV that I drove 260,000 miles, and my sons all drove it. And they, Dad, please buy me a new car. No, you're gonna drive it to the wheels fall off. No, I'm one of those guys, but I don't replace my phone until my phone just dies, you know. So, but I do have a 12 in my pocket now because my last one died. And I bought the latest, I got the most memory I can possibly get, you know, and hopefully it'll take me the next 10 years.
All right, what's your vote, sir?
Either one of them are gonna be great. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Be hard to. You know, the Ken is the latest greatest.
I wish we could see the 15 right beside it, but how much of a difference does it really make?
The pixelization that you were saying, you know, you're gonna see that at the 20-yard line slightly, you know. So where if you don't see it at all right now, once you get past that goal line where we were standing there, you're gonna slightly see that pixelization in the 15. But again, I noticed it. You'll notice it because I told you to notice it. All the people in the stands.
Yeah, 50-yard line in the stands, is there that much of a difference between a 10 and a 15?
Did y'all play Mike Myers
Uh,
down in Austin?
Well, no, we for the University of Texas, no, we did the basketball arena.
Okay, it wasn't one at the track?
That's my college market, and yes, I think we did do the track, I think we did. do
What was the pixel on that?
Okay. Let me go to my website here real quick.
I was trying to find the dimensions to see how it compared to this one that we're looking at. And all I got was the guy from Halloween.
Mike Myers.
That's why. Trying to watch state track meet, look at a scoreboard and getting, Googling Mike Myers. Did not get me anywhere. But I thought I saw a sign for y'all down there.
Again, that's College University's not my market, I just work in the national market. My counterpart in that market, Dan Beltline, he's on water. We had the original jumbo, the Godzilla car. We lost it to another competitor, but then you get picked up baseball, softball, the basketball, and I think we did the track as well too. I do believe that's one more.
Well, it was a very nice board.
Oh, yes.
And I just thought, I wonder if that's the size that we're looking at to what the pixels are on it, because it was pretty clear, I'd say.
Yeah. Again, you're not gonna go wrong.
I understand it, I just don't put it out there. Because I know I didn't have a problem with it.
Well, how much money are we anticipating we can generate from those anchor partners?
Well, it depends on if we set 5,000 a year, then you're looking at 20,000 because there's 4 anchor partners.
I think you can actually go up on a top tier sponsor, you know. I think you probably start with a $10,000 price range.
We're not South Lake Carolina.
No, I'm just talking about.
You know, we're a small town, that, we haven't got that many.
But if you're gonna go to a hospital, which hospital are you gonna go to?
But, you know, in the side ads, so we're, the touchdown.
Yeah.
Ad for a touchdown, you know.
Oh, yeah.
My name comes up every time they score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My name comes up every time they intercept the ball, you know, I don't know, but you know, that's.
So first, fourth, and fifth timeouts, your stuff goes up there. That's what we help you build that part of that package with that,
15 millimeter, I think is what I found. Meyer Stadium receives a new display at the north end and clock displays at the field lake. Both feature 15 millimeter line spacing.
That's it.
Okay.
That's us. I'm trying to pull it up here. I got UTEP El Paso here. Crusader Stadium. I can check on that. I can get to my computer, I can check on that, and I can send it back to you. Here it is, yes, sir, there it is.
What's the dimensions?
Let me pull that up.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Any more questions before we make a decision? All right, we'll be right with you.
Okay, sure, absolutely. You want me to just hang out for a while?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, sir, yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm hearing software doesn't matter to us. We feel like they're gonna show the support that we're gonna have. But also, it's 10 years old, the 15 millimeter is. But they are gonna support the 15 millimeter. What we saw at Mike Myers this weekend is pretty doggone good. And that was 15.
Cause I was sitting on midway when I visited,
Opposite side.
and I could see just clear, and they put the time and run the stop. Not pretty excited.
So we want the concession stand and boosters to be able to see it.
Good.
I guess I'll see it.
Put it on the pedestal where you turn it around and artists can look.
So it sounds like it's not gonna be an issue 10 years from now, getting any service on 15 millimeter. And it doesn't seem like it's a big of a difference unless you're, what do you say, a 20-yard line? And you gotta know what you're looking for? Is that kind of what y'all got out of that conversation?
And we got an extra $100,000 to spend on LED lighting.
I'm all about some lights. I'm pulling on this turn lights up and off.
I don't think our fans are gonna see the difference. If we didn't tell anybody about our conversation we're having today, they wouldn't know the difference whether we bought 50.
I mean, this is good problems to have, that we can sit here and decide.
Yeah, but remember, our videos are recorded, and so they are live right now.
Yes.
In mind. So they're gonna know.
Sorry, we really don't do that.
So, you know, if it's okay, let's roll with the decision to go with the bigger one. Save the 100,000 or 80 to 100,000, and then we would look at doing LED lights, retrofit the stadium lights.
Sounds good.
With the difference. That's fair enough. Everybody can live with that.
Mr. President, I move that we take the recommendation of our legislators and technology guy and go with the bigger screen.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the purchase of a video scoreboard for Eagle Stadium as presented by Mr. Smith. Do I have a second? Ms. Ames, second. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Next item is to move some, increasing the budget out of our, function 81, and it's not to exceed 822,621, so we can do the things that the board has just listed.
I need a motion to approve increasing the budget in function 81 not to exceed $822,621 for our renovation projects.
Mr. President, I so move.
Ms. McElwain makes a motion. Second. Mr. Williams, second. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
And we need to run in executive session.
Hold on a second. Earlier this morning, Mr. Skip Angus, Mr. C. Ray Smith, and Mr. Max Crawford took the oath of office and were presented with certificates. We will now convene into closed meeting to discuss the following items posted on our agenda this morning, as allowed by the Texas Government Code 551.074, involving the resignations and employment of professional personnel, and Texas Government Code 551.072 to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of the discussions in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. It is now 10:30 a.m.
Thank you, Wes.
Appreciate it, sir.